Some talk at the AGM about how back in December we were asked as the board to hire somebody to do a more in-depth audit. There's a special word for it.
Forensic.
Forensic audit, thank you. We were asked to do a forensic audit by a very loud but small group at the last meetings when the new board was elected, and I'm talking about back in December, before this board was even elected, about doing this forensic audit. But as we heard from Norman, that was impossible to do because the books were kept so poorly prior to December of last year that we didn't have enough information in order to do that, which is why it was so touchy for a while, trying to find the documents for where this money went. But at the end of the day, everything was put together. It's a very simple document. Not that it's easy to read, but it doesn't go into great detail. It's simply incoming and outgoing money. But we know, at least, where it came from and where it went. So we're going to post this on our website. Does anybody have questions? Well, that was way too easy. Okay. So now we have to approve this audit. Anybody like to propose that we approve this audit?
There is just one important thing. It's not the report is not as proprement parler a full audit, as we
It's a
can see.
financial
It's a financial
statement.
statement. Because it couldn't, as we're still missing some information that couldn't be proved 100%. For example, the money that was paid by Concordia. It means that Concordia have been able to prove that this money needed to be paid, but
It's very normal for not-for-profits of our size to only do a financial statement every year. It still
it's
counts
not a
towards our audit.
requirement.
Just perhaps for clarity, we should, in online and everywhere else, then refer to this as a statement and not an audit.
Well, legally, we're required to do an audit every year.
But this isn't an audit.
It's not
Legally
legally we need,
can be counted
somebody
as an
to
audit.
check our finance and approve the finance.
Given the fact that we
It's
got a
just,
bunch
it's
of
just a lower
people.
level of audit.
Right, but legally, that piece of paper is not an
Yes, it
audit.
is.
Well, then it's an audit. Why are you saying it's a statement? I don't understand.
Because there's 3 different ways to refer to audits. There's financial statement, and then there's an audit, and then
Okay,
there's a
so
forensic
if
audit.
this is legally an audit, then my
Let's just
point
call it
is
an audit.
obviously moot.
Yeah. It's just semantics. So, whereas the audit is completed, let's approve it.
So does someone need
Be
to
it
move
resolved
to
that we-
approve it? or?
Yeah, I'll move. Be it resolved that we.
Be it resolved that we approve this audit for 2013. The best thing that came out of this is that we got to see just how poorly things were doing before, just how unorganized our financial situation was, and it really was a kick in the pants for this incoming board, who was all new as of last December, about how we had to get it together so that we would never have to deal with something as horrendous and expensive as this was.
If somebody wants to know about how the budget is going to look for the future of CUTV, the only big things to take into account are that contribution is mainly what comes from Concordia, which is what is helping us. Donation is what people are giving us, which might not be as high as what it used to be in the past. However, salary and fringe benefits, now we only have 2 paid workers. In the past, I believe they had
Up to 10
Yeah.
people.
up to
Yeah,
10
just for a
workers.
short time.
So there is a huge difference in the spending, which means that obviously we're going to be able to create a proper budget with that.
And well, 2 questions. Well, this is gonna be public, right?
Yeah. we're
So
good.
I can. So the money that was missing finally was what? Finally?
We didn't end up missing money.
No, not missing, but it was
Live
It
stream.
was
misplaced,
live.
right?
Oh, you mean where it
It was
went?
live stream.
Live stream. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the final number for this audit?
So basically,
You mean what we have?
the revenue.
What we have and what was that?
So the revenue for the year 2012 and 2013, so the 1 year audit, it's around 411,000, and the spending were 3.
Keep in mind that this won't be usual because during the student
Strikes,
movements, we were getting a lot of donations at that time, so we can't imagine that our budget will probably ever be that big, unless, and we'll talk about this as it comes closer to the date, but maybe we'll strike up a deal with Videotron, depending on whether this English community television station happens, but that's something that is further in the future, and we're still seeing whether the CRTC will approve their project. It could be that we do have a budget that big eventually, but for right now, it won't be that big. It won't. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so let's just pass this, I guess. So whereas the audit is completed, be it resolved that we accept this audit. Who would like to propose? And who would like to second? And vote.
All in favor? The vote is passed.
À mon avis, le plan Nord, ce qui manque, c'est le plan.
L'air est saturé déjà. On dit que le plus haut taux de cancer au Québec, c'est cette île. De rajouter encore une mine, je veux dire, c'est impensable.
As Research Director of the Parkland Institute here in Alberta, we have the opportunity to look critically at who has won and who has lost through decades of resource boom and bust here in the province. And the winners are relatively small in number and the losers are many. And I would suggest that Quebecers should look hard at who's won and who's lost.
We hear the words sustainable development, développement durable being thrown around all over the place. But when will it truly be?
So,
Then I turn you over for working groups.
do you have notes from the last meeting? We talked about a few different working groups.
Yeah, we have some suggestions. I mean, they're all there. Communications, budget, policies, referendum were ones we suggested as good options. And I don't know if anyone has specific questions as to what that would necessarily entail, or any suggestions as to other ones.
Well, I know that Bagdi is spearheading a really great project right now, so maybe we'll let him take the floor and explain what he's up to.
Yeah, so as part of the communication that we're trying to set up for clear communication in the station, as well as communication to the exterior, people who are not part of CTV.
Would you like to call this a communications working group?
So, wait,
Okay.
no. As we spoke this is what we spoke at our last meeting, creating this communication committee. Sorry, with that, well, we need to have getting inputs, right? Getting information, research done, and so you communicate first, and then I did with GMMA to have them help us to do a marketing for CUTV. And I don't know if you guys want to present basically what is GMMA and what you guys briefly were working on. Like what was the goal with CUTV?
Sure. The Joan Wolf's Marketing Association, it's a branch of CASA JMSB, and
Do you just want to introduce yourselves?
oh, no problem. I'm Josh, and I'm a graduate student in business.
I'm Leticia. I'm an undergraduate in marketing and fine arts.
And anyway, the gist of what we'd be doing for the station is to help you guys raise awareness and bring in more members and increase your membership. That's it in a nutshell. And we would do that hopefully through helping you guys rebrand by creating CUTV as a white label. meaning it can be anything to anyone. People can come in and create their content, and they'll still credit CUTV at the end of the production. And that's how we figure we can go about that.
And the part that we're doing research, that would to get the information.
Yeah, we've been asking around in the various student groups and seeing what their thoughts are and what CUTV could be to them, and just getting their input about what they'd like to see CUTV become.
So how many student groups have you contacted so far?
Contact the CUTV.
We have roughly 5 different ones already, and we want to actually make a pitch.
Yeah.
Maybe sometime next week, and by then get more inputs from different faculties, because we don't want to. Because I mean, the main goal, what we wanted to do is also make this also, raise awareness to the students, get students being involved, learning about this place, and by doing that, we're also asking questions like, how would you imagine CUTV, or what do you know about CUTV, and stuff like that, and gathering data, and building, basically doing R&D, research and development, in our final thing, which is going to be the pitch, and then propose.
So what exactly are you pitching?
Well, from what we're gathering from the research, recommendations basically, or also we also have working on the logos and stuff. So because we have to do a whole rebrand the image, because like some stuff that we can get information that we already got from interviewing and asking questions to some groups. People will say, well, I don't know what it represents, or some people will say, well, it's still a bit too. It's not, I don't know what I can do there, what should I do, or how's it representative of what we're doing? Because there's a lot of student groups, a lot of student associations that want to also promote their image, and that's where Josh came up with an idea of the white label, where they want to say, well, what I want to do, I don't want necessarily to inflict with someone else's work or something, so that's where the white label idea came from. And once we have the whole idea come up, like finalized, basically after the research, we want to do basically GMA will actually do a pitch to CTV.
Could you explain the white label concept?
Yeah,
That was
thank
my
you.
question. It sounds like what's already being done.
Yeah, well, Josh, maybe you want to talk about more?
How is it different from the mandate of CUTV right now?
It shouldn't conflict with CUTV's mandate now. It should just allow people a space where they can learn it and film their work and show it. And CUTV doesn't necessarily have to be a showcase for one viewpoint. Everybody can show their viewpoint. And what we'll just do is, if the website would be redesigned, people could link their work to the website and credit CUTV, like I said.
How's that different than what's already established now?
It's would involve a redesign of the website and a couple other things, but it's different in that it's primarily a move to raise awareness and increase membership, especially in advance of the vote that's coming up in March, if there's to be the fee levy.
Because I get the design thing, but I'm still trying to understand how is it different than what's happening now.
Oh, I think what he's saying is, that's really, anybody is free to come in here at any time and create whatever they want, 2 mice in a cage.
But that's not our work anyway.
But you're just, or what you're saying, I think what he's saying is that he's just going to communicate that, because it's true, none of those students know that they can come here and do that. So I think he's just going to figure out a way to communicate that.
Basically, the goal of marketing is not to change the policies or change anything.
To
the marketing
inform,
is to, our goal is to raise awareness to the students, get more students involved, get more students know about us, but through our research, because we are collecting data, that's part of the communication where we collect data, and we are coming up with suggestions or recommendations that we would like to make a pitch at the end, because we are gathering data.
I think it's an excellent idea, because nobody's been able to figure out yet why no one in this university knows we exist. So if you can figure that out, God bless you, buddy.
And that is why we're going to provide that data, that research. We are based on that to say, these are the recommendations which will actually increase student involvement in student awareness, and students will be more interested in CUTV. That's basically our ultimate goal.
Excellent.
Great.
There's a question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so obviously you guys are doing a lot of research, and I figure that's where some of your procedures are coming from, right? So when you say something like, like rebranding, or, like showing students that like we're not just for one perspective, like I guess I'm just trying to understand, like, is that the feedback you've been hearing?
That's what we've been hearing.
Okay.
In fact,
because if there's a rebranding, that means there's something wrong with our current brand, right? I mean,
So I'm just wondering, like, you know, from the feedback you've heard, I mean, that must have fit in there.
Not pointing fault at anything. It's in fact.
No, I'm not trying to attack you.
Wouldn't
I'm
even,
just curious
wouldn't
because
even,
obviously this has come from somewhere. So I'm just wondering what the general feeling was to have brought it to that point. You know.
mostly students haven't heard of it, the
Okay.
place, and they that's the big thing, and you know, to get them to come out and sign up as members and learn the equipment and learn how to produce their own stuff. And it's opening the doors, really, saying, hey, you guys exist, come up to CUTV. To communicate that clearly, that's the big thing, you know.
Because we want to create the common space for everyone to feel comfortable and like I said, like not to inflict, like anyone who comes up with an idea and stuff, like whoever works on the project, every project until now has been good. So that means, but in the same way, not to conflict with someone else's interests or views or something. So everyone has, you know, that's where the white label came, where everyone gets the chance to actually.
Is this a marketing term, white label? Okay.
White label basically means, right now we currently black label. White label means that there's, like, if you, for example, when we were taking livestream.com as our provider, when you use the free account, you get Livestream's logo on the player.
Okay.
But by paying an additional fee, you can white label the player, therefore implanting your own logo there, so that it seems more so that it is your service that you're using and not livestream.com, for example. So it's usually a service provided or some kind of resource provided by a third party, but you're able to relabel it. Okay, online invoice software, like applications like that, to make use of this all the time. It's like an additional feature that you pay for. Currently, like regarding there, I have to say there's a conflict in your presentation because you're talking about branding, but then you're talking about, both of you are talking about the way the members are interacting with each other and taking use of the space. Those are separate things. One is supposed to invoke the other much more, and right now when you're saying white label, you're referring to the ability for anybody to come in and be able to produce. That's currently what we have. What needs to happen is we need to promote that more.
Yeah.
So it's not that you're coming up with a new idea for white labeling, it's that you want to attack the problem, which is the communication to the public of the things that CUTV currently has, which you have to come in and get involved and find out more about.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think it's great. Thanks, guys. Okay, so if we're ready, are you guys, I'm sure you're open to having members join you and
Yes,
help
we're
you
actually
out
talking
with
about
your work?
having members, because I mean the way it started, once you contacted them, they already started building the squad and getting data already.
Yeah.
So once I went, it was wow. Like the models and the diagrams they were like based on the research, and then there's more research coming up. So we did a bit. It's amazing.
Super. Okay, so let's establish your working group.
Yeah.
What do you want to call it?
I mean, it's a marketing community, so
Great.
yeah, marketing.
Marketing committee?
Yeah.
Beauty. Super. So do we want to pass them committee by committee or just pass them all as a whole at the end? We have to motion and vote on.
Oh, if
establishing
we accept
all
the
these
I think we can do them all at the end.
Oh, yeah.
If there's any objections, then we can have some, yeah.
I'm not going to object, but I do want it noted, like for minutes or whatever it is, that I'm unclear on what the process was for deciding what committees should exist in order to be able to properly run the station.
Okay.
The process is that anybody who thinks that a committee needs to be established should pitch it and we'll talk about it.
That's it?
Yeah.
We discussed it last meeting. Last meeting as a group, we decided on a few that we thought would be helpful to the station. So we had, the marketing committee was initially communications. We had budget because we have a budget and we thought it'd be cool if the membership would be involved. Policies, kind of self-explanatory, and then a referendum.
But we didn't want to pass anything without giving the membership a chance to attend the meeting and.
Yeah,
make
and if they
ideas.
had any ideas for another committee, or if there's no interest in a specific committee, then maybe it's not a committee worth having.
Cool,
This
and,
is just our
and people
personal
run for
suggestion.
these committees, yeah?
Well, it's,
You
they'll be
just join
led,
it, you don't need to run for it.
they'll be
Okay.
led,
Later
it'll be
down the line,
led by
anyone
a
can
board of
jump in?
director,
Yeah.
who, like a board of director should be present on every single one of these committees.
We
Just
can
one
figure
or
that
two,
out
whoever
as we
wants
go.
to, but anybody's welcome to join the committee and help out.
Yeah, we can figure out, yeah,
Of what the
that
policy on
part. Yeah,
committees
once
are?
the committees are formed, then we can figure out the policies for what you can join after. And I don't think that's vital. We do need to proceed with this work, and we need to proceed with it now. And we can set up the bureaucratic structure, I think, as we go.
Right now, the approach is squeaky wheel gets the oil, gets the grease.
Well, it's just, what do we need? What do we need work on? You know what I mean? What do we need people to focus on, and not just the board here, but members and the board to focus on right now to get us where we want to be as quickly as possible? That's it.
Cool.
Yeah. So like any ideas are welcome.
Yeah.
Next one we could do budget committee, because that needs to happen.
Think of the budget committee as really fun though, as opposed to what it may have been, because now we have more freedom. We can decide as a membership exactly where the money goes rather than having it as an executive decision as it was before. Yes?
Is the budget and finance same thing?
No. This is,
Separate.
this is looking at how should we
Yeah. I
allocate
mean, some of it
our
is fixed.
resources.
This is separate from the finance
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
Just some of it will be fixed, like you cannot, we have certain things that we have to pay for, but then there'll be extra money, maybe we get a third staff member, invest in certain equipment. And I think it would be really great if we have members involved, because if you are
Yeah.
working at the station
This
every
could be
day,
special projects, this could be.
yeah, you know what the station needs, and you know that as a membership what they want, so I think it would be really fun.
Yeah.
As money.
I've been singing forever, since I was 3.
For all the committees, if people want to just show up, even if they're not part of the committee,
Yes.
they're more than welcome to.
Yeah, the thing is, it's good to sign up now, because then you'll be on the email list for each committee, because we're not gonna send out emails for every single committee to all of our members. So if you wanna come to these meetings, please sign up, or if you wanna be invited to these meetings even, then sign up. So
Okay.
Piers,
Oh, sorry.
Corey,
Whole thing.
And if you know anyone else who may be interested, just let them know and send me an email and we'll add them to the list.
Yeah, great.
So I guess, is there anything else we can do with it?
You know what, we might send a newsletter out after this meeting, just posting what the committees were that were created to
Probably
give
a
people
good
an
idea, yeah.
opportunity in case they can make the
Yeah,
decision.
maybe stick it up on the Facebook and all that too as well.
Yeah.
So people can email about it and be done.
Okay, so I guess we'll leave it at that. No, I don't know if we want a specific board member to take responsibility for the meeting, or do
We
we
should,
decide that?
maybe we'll decide that at our first meeting, who wants to lead them. But can we sign up for the marketing committee as well? Anybody's interested?
Oh, yeah.
in-
Anyone, I would personally be very interested. Well, we already have.
Christine.
Maggie, could you send me the names of the other people involved in the
Sure.
email? So could we
Sure.
just add them to the list? It's easier than me
Yeah.
writing them down now.
Okay, so are you writing their names now, or are you just?
I'm just gonna put you in your name brackets that you have to email me with the
Okay.
names of your. Is there anyone else interested in the marketing committee?
Could you repeat that?
The marketing committee?
Marketing committee, yeah.
Yeah, fine. William. This is, again, it's the mailing list too, so if you wanna.
Good name.
Corey. Okay.
Okay.
Again, if anyone else changes their minds, just let me know and we'll do that for you.
Yeah.
So policies?
Yes, there are some policies that still need to be drafted, lots of policies that still need to be drafted. So the way the last board went about drafting these policies is we tried to hold a few policy meetings, kind of spotty attendance. So at that point, we decided just to attempt to write the policies. None of the policies have so far, or very few of the policies have been approved, just because we want to get as many policies written as we can, send out a document, and then hold a big meeting that has questions and comments from everybody, and then we can pass all the policies and get them into action. So Fahim, like, what do you think are the most important policies that need to be drafted right now?
Right now,
Yeah.
we should definitely take a look through the policies that we've been using tentatively, which are the sponsorship policies governing equipment usage for productions, the membership policy too. I mean, all of them could look over. The ones that are currently in effect are the equipment and space policy, the sponsorship policy, and the membership policy, I believe.
For the most pressing.
Something for the news department, like, you know, because that's very, very essential to establish the difference between editorial content and news reporting.
Yeah.
And staff are very uncomfortable, like, having to govern that ourselves, you know, we don't like saying no to people for their productions and stuff. And it'd be easier for us to be able to explain even what problems there are if we had a document that explained what problems to look for. The policy that Julian drafted for the finance committee, that's an important one because that's going to govern overall spending. So
Do you think that needs to
that's
be approved or edited?
I believe it needs to be approved. It hasn't been implemented in any way. It probably does need to be edited. Julian said that he wasn't necessarily certain that that was the most. I would recommend just setting up a policy research committee.
Okay.
And this group of people are going to look at all policies, and not just policies, but the operating areas of CUTV, so that we can approach policy writing and work at the station in a way that is actually tangibly productive and is going to effectively deal with things that problems that we have been dealing with and we deal with on a day-to-day basis. And maybe that setting is better in a team that's working on it rather than a big room like discussing the policies and stuff like that.
Right.
And maybe reports could come out of these meetings.
Will and Corey?
Yeah, we have a policy we
Yeah.
brought forward, read and voted today. It's a press pass policy.
Okay.
So if we could do that whenever it's convenient.
Do you want to present it now?
Oh, sure. Where is it? It's on the policy. It's on the Google document. Call up the press pass policy.
Maybe, I don't know if this is the appropriate time to do it. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Okay, wait, which part of is part of this the regular policy that we have?
Well, this is how
Oh, press
policies
badge
will be
policy, there it
approved. Yeah,
is.
they'll be
Found
brought
it.
forward at a meeting,
That's
read
right.
in and voted on, so I don't.
Would you like me to read it, or the
Sure,
one that
go
was
ahead.
drafted on June 4th? That makes sense to you?
Yeah,
Do you want me to read
June
the whole
4th.
thing?
No, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Well, it was
That
drafted
started-
June 4th. We
We edited it.
modified
It says
Yeah.
first
Can I
draft
just-
June 4th.
The
Can I
last
just have a
edit, the
quick
last
look?
edit was September 26th.
Yeah,
That
that's
makes
it.
sense. That's us. Yeah. Oh,
I mean, if you see, if it sounds like the wrong one.
can I just have a
Yeah.
quick read and then yeah, you can go ahead and read it. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, that's her.
Okay, so I'll quickly read it. So Community University Television Press Badge Policy, first draft June 4th, 2013. 1. Content and purpose, 1.1. All press badges are to be kept in the equipment room at the CUTV station located where we are located when in use, with the exception of personalized press passes, which the member can keep on their person. 1.2. All press badges should be identical in appearance. They must have the CUTV logo and must clearly identify the holder as a member of the press. The badge must also include legal information in the event of arrest or other complications. There's actually the comments here? I think
No.
there's comments.
Do we have a lawyer who's willing to be
Do
our
we?
go-to person?
That
Is it possibly Denis Poitras?
no, it's
No
going to
longer?
be
No, it
a
can't be.
Etienne Poitras.
Etienne Poitras?
Etienne
Yeah,
Poitras.
so do you want me to?
It's not any relation. You can put that in or not. I mean, that's
well, it's
irrelevant to
fine,
the
I'm not
policy.
gonna
The
put it in.
policy states that there must be legal information.
Yeah. 1.3, personalized press badges may be given out to crew members and other producers. It may include additional information such as name, role, and photo of the member who holds it. 1.4, press badges must be taken out at the same time as equipment and worn on the member's clothing so as to be clearly visible. 2, privileges and access. 2.1, only CUTV members have access to press badges, and only when doing CUTV coverage. 2.2, they are to be given to members when they take out equipment for CUTV coverage. Each member involved in the shoot should receive one to be returned along with equipment at the end of booking. 2.3, before being issued, I think it might be slightly incomplete, because that's all it says.
That's a,
Maybe one of you can go back and
Mhm.
it just says before being issued, that's all. Sorry. Looks like a spider. Just a feather. No spiders in this room. Whatever. So you just got rid of it?
Yeah, just.
3 responsibilities. 3.1, all members wearing a CUTV press badge must behave in a professional and ethical manner. That's highlighted. I'm guessing that we should outline what exactly that means in our code of ethics. I think that's a comment left by Chico, so that is very true. 3.2, all members must take care of the press badge the same way as they would hold any other piece of equipment. 3.3, no member will visibly wear any political symbols or participate in a demonstration or other action if legal. Again, this is
Whether you legal or illegal.
even if legal or illegal.
Or illegal. Whether illegal, legal or illegal.
Okay, 4, in case of legal complication. 4.1, CUTV members wearing the press badge are to identify themselves as press to law enforcement officials and ask to speak with media relations officer. 4.2, in case of detention, kettling, intimidation, verbal and or physical confrontation, and or arrest, the CUTV member should refer to the legal information on the back of the press badge. It is strongly recommended they call the lawyer identified on the back.
It might be a good idea to keep the media relations officer number on that press badge.
What I would also recommend, if, like, assuming we,
Not a bad idea.
I don't know how we do demonstrations now, but when during the student strikes, you
Yeah.
have someone on a cell phone, for
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
What was really helpful during the strikes, if you remember, is that if you were to contact directly through Twitter, the SVPM Twitter account, they would quickly release any press, because sometimes they're quickly.
Fair enough.
They would
We
pass
can
the
include-
message.
we
That
can
would
include
be
all that
another
on
way
the
to
badge.
communicate if it was such an event that's so large that
Sure,
there's
that-
calls.
that
So
sounds
that's
good.
another recommendation.
Là, on est sur le site de la Canada Malting. C'est une industrie, en fait, c'est une malterie qui a été fermée il y a environ 30 ans. C'est un des derniers vestiges industriels au bord du canal de la Chine qui n'a pas été converti en condo.
Do we want to, are we going to vote on this now, or
Mhm.
is there anybody?
Yeah, we need
Okay.
to produce
You need
these
to-
passes.
I just have a little comment that needs to be taken into account of this, is that the badge doesn't protect you for anything, which means that if you try to film somebody who doesn't want to be filmed, there is still, it's not because you are press then you are allowed to film anybody. Like it's just, in terms of the law, even if you cover the news, if somebody doesn't want to appear in the news, this badge doesn't protect you from this person attacking you. Just to make sure that's
Any coverage, I mean, any coverage that you do, I mean, it doesn't, I have that.
Well, we could make a large version with a couple of handles, maybe.
Well, okay, legally, you can film people.
Pretty much
in public.
anyone, yeah.
Just because they're holding their hand in front of their face doesn't mean that you can't film them. But
have seen
yes,
some
this
more
badge
cases
does
there,
not
But that is not the policy.
protect you from
Yeah.
people being jerks. No, it doesn't.
No, this policy just regards, the importance of this policy is at the moment, we really don't have press passes that we're issuing. Like, I think there are literally physically 2 in the building. And, yeah, we need to produce a new version of this and get on with this.
Personally,
Ryan has a comment.
yeah, go for it.
We can have press passes ready at any time to provide. Since the draft had been started, I've been stating that the problem is, for staff especially, what is the procedure for us to determine who can we give a press pass to and who can we not give a press pass to?
Well,
Isn't it in the policy?
It just says all members, pretty much.
No, it doesn't. It says producers and.
Yeah, it's for the personalized
members.
passes.
Oh, you.
No, but it says members when they go out on shoot. I mean, even a brand new member who comes in
So all
must.
members.
Yeah, the temporary ones will be issued just for the time of the shoot. I mean, that's in the policy, and yeah, that would be the policy. But I mean, even if your first week here, if you go out on a shoot, yes, you should be issued this to identify.
But you're only a full-fledged member after 2 weeks, right?
Or, well, sorry, okay, after your 2-week
Crew
thing.
member, like this.
Okay,
Crew members everyone up.
But,
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't say
Yeah.
member. It says producer or crew member.
Perfect. And that's for the general one, that solves the worry in my head. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And for the personalized ones,
It's only producers.
Personalized will be giving, it says crew members and producers.
so again, all producers and all crew members can come and request a personalized press pass, which staff will produce and create and give to them.
That was my question.
Add
Is
the
this
words,
stuff
add the
producing-
words live
Maybe it's
stream
better if only producers
in
can
front
have
of crew.
personalized.
And I
Yeah.
think
Who's gonna-
if we had the words live
Live
stream in
stream.
front of crew, will that satisfy? Because I think that's
What
what
is
is meant
missing
by
is
that.
some kind of process, like the way we certify for equipment. We need to certify for going on air, or for being a reporter, or for being someone with a press pass, so that they understand the things that you've delineated in your policy. Like, for example, the producer workshop that I give, it's not so much, I talk about being a producer and video production in general in the various forms, but a lot of the workshop is more going over the different forms that we have here and the policies that govern the actions that they're going through. So we explain to them that in that workshop. That's the certification to be a producer, to use those forms and to incur use of all resources.
but to certify to be a producer, I mean, that's, I don't know, it's kind of
So what do we
included in
include
there.
our
This will be
producer
issued.
training?
Right.
So that they know how to behave with one of these press passes.
So we'd have to take out the word crew member. Is
Sorry.
that what you're saying?
You want to strike crew altogether? so
No,
just producer.
I mean, there's no code of ethics for us to teach.
Exactly. What are we teaching?
What
Who's
are we
producing
certifying? What are we
the
checking?
physical?
I'm not comfortable passing this until we have our ethics code laid out.
Yeah.
And another thing is just start thinking about it. Who's gonna actually produce the things? Is the staff every time somebody asks I have to personalize whatever? Or
I think it should be like a time or commitment level. I don't think that we should need to be like printing out personalized press passes for everybody who asks one. If you're gonna take out equipment, you're gonna be handed like the neutral press passes, so why
maybe
not?
we
So
Can we move
you
forward
do
with that?
understand that between now and then, we have nothing to issue nobody and no policy about nothing. You
And
get
we've been
that?
running with that for 5 months.
And that's
And
why I
that
was
is not
arrested. Are you
acceptable.
happy, or do you want to make movies?
Oh, this is
not
my fault.
acceptable.
It's not
But
your
it-
fault, but you're
It's
you're
not
blocking
acceptable.
it now, though.
Can we not, we can always amend this as, is that not true? Just because we pass something doesn't mean it's written in stone. We can amend this as required.
I think that a code of ethics needs to be drafted.
I kind of agree with that.
Can I make a proposal?
Yeah.
Can we meet in the middle
We can move on.
and can we meet in the middle and try and come up with something at ASAP to pass that gives a general press pass with each equipment booking? That way they can take it out for their shoots, and the personalized press passes can wait until there's a code of ethics, because then there's the name being tied in rather than
I
someone
mean,
that's part of the
if you're
crew.
branded as CUTV, I think that there's like a certain code of ethics that you need to work under, whether it's got your picture on it or not. And CUTV has been embarrassed before by really, really poor journalistic ethics. And we're trying to rebrand CUTV, we're trying to market CUTV, we're trying to turn the station around, then there needs to be some rules in place before we hand out people signifiers saying, I'm CUTV, and they're acting inappropriately. I think that,
I agree.
Isn't a
think
camera
there's
a
also-
signifier? That's my last word on the things.
Concerning this, I think there is just right now when somebody go on a shoot, they have the camera with already the name of CCTV on it. So
Oh, boy.
just adding a press pass, I don't think it's gonna do much harm on the.
well, then maybe it's just pressure for us to get this code of ethics working.
Yeah.
But renting a camera is not the same as like having a pass saying that you're like able to be somewhere on behalf of CUTV. Just because you have their equipment doesn't necessarily mean that you're representing CUTV.
Because you can rent equipment from
Yeah.
any places, doesn't mean you represent them.
What I want to say is basically come back to what you were saying, code of ethics, and as well as who we are when we go out and we are covering the public basically, and it's just like anything, whether it's events, news, whatever. There's a certain level of, because we are representing CUTV as members, we have to have some level of certification saying that yes, we are certified to be out there, we are certified to represent this. And this comes back to the topic where it could create some issues where there are some people who have, like let's say if everyone goes outside now, everyone has different levels of experience, and it's causing some sort of problems between these groups, saying, well, yes, I am CUTV and this person is CUTV, but we are both doing something, different levels, different concepts, different ideas. Did you understand?
What we need is just a policy to
Yeah.
blanket.
in the meantime, what do we do? Because we're not giving anybody anything. We need something.
In the meantime, we draft a code of ethics, and then we'll start handing out press passes.
Can I just add something? I do think that maybe a compromise would be
In the meantime,
necessary.
we don't cover
Because
anything on the
otherwise
street.
we can't cover those events
Voila.
just for the safety
There
of
we go, we
the
declare a
membership.
moratorium until we get this done.
Is that, you
Nobody
think
goes
that's
on the street.
reasonable?
Well,
You've been
without
covering
their
things without
protect,
press passes for.
and should I then, I should put my face out there to get broken with nothing behind me, I should do that?
A
You,
press pass
you're,
isn't gonna
you're saying,
protect
cause I
your
did
face,
that
Will.
before, it's better than nothing. And to say that
Think
because
about it,
our
why you
members
guys
have been
were arrested
working
before?
without
They
this for
knew
so
that you
long,
were
they
working
can
for
continue
CUTV.
doing it?
And you know why they don't respect you working for CUTV? Because people from CUTV have a bad reputation for acting inappropriately. And that's why we need this code of ethics.
Okay, well, let's get it done. Let's, I mean, if we need to do this as a board, let's call a this kind of meeting and let's do this, and let's get a date.
Great, let's do it. That's why we're setting up the
All right.
policy.
Basically, we just need a paper that any member, before having a press pass, will sign saying, as a crew member of
Good
CUTV,
idea.
I accept this term, first term, second term, I will behave in a professional manner, I'm not allowed to do any harm to anybody or anything around me while I'm holding the CUTV name.
It's exactly
And
the kind of thing that needs to
But
be.
has that happened at any point?
Well, no, that's not
That's the
unreasonable,
thing,
to
it's
sign
not
a paper to
unreasonable.
say
That's
so.
something
That's
that needs to be done, that should be existing already. If it's not, we'll have to do it as fast as
Yes.
possible.
They don't
That's a
even
very,
need to sign
that's
it.
a
We
very
add it to
fast
the.
thing to do. It's only gonna take like a day or 2 days to draft it, then maybe after a week more to be able to approve it and make the necessary
But then you
change.
still have to describe what it is that is ethical matter when you're on a shoot. So, I mean, just because you're signing a paper, like everyone has different interpretation of what exactly ethical matter is.
And within the
It's-
policies, then we need to come up with consequences for people who are not acting professionally in our
Big
So can we have an ethical committee or something? Or maybe in the policies have an ethical subtopic?
I think that we just set up the policy committee, and this is the first thing that we
okay.
tackle.
It's a great
Yeah,
idea, it's
yeah,
just,
that
it's
was-
just a matter of like taking the necessary steps in order to make sure that everything's gonna go smoothly and there's gonna be no more fuck-ups.
All right, I'll be satisfied with that, then, but it does need to happen quickly, because
Yeah.
really, I have not been comfortable for a while, and I'm uncomfortable now without being able to issue something, and yeah, something, a way more decent press pass, like in the real world out there, it does provide you some effect.
Could I say something?
Yeah.
Oh, think like this. A press pass doesn't save you from anything. You
I-
can, wait.
Dude, I don't know.
Listen
you're
to what I'm
saying.
saying. The code of ethics is something that you can refer to. You printing something fancy with a CUTV logo and the number of a lawyer doesn't give you anything. It doesn't matter if it's red, if it's blue, or if it's yellow. And if it has your name or not. If there's no thing to refer to, the press pass is just to, yes, there's a code of ethics and this person breached it or not for the organization, for the cops. It's just you with a printer and you just print something. Do you have that in, do you understand the difference?
I have no problem with getting away from that.
No,
'cause that's what
going
we've
to
done
cover
until
things
now.
with a printable thing or not, it doesn't save you if you don't have a code of ethics that then if something happens, we can go to the police and say, look, but we have a code of ethics and he signed it and I know for sure that he's a responsible person and you treat him as not, you see, but you printing something for them is the same. Like this person printed this at home and now he's pretending this is you see what I mean? This is not a media outlet. This is not
Okay.
CTV.
Are you, okay.
Even if it was the CTV press pass, is just a thing that they print. It's like a membership card that we don't have. I think that's more important to track our membership than having a press pass that anybody can print with the logo of CTV. See what I mean?
So the idea here is to get an actual professional-looking press pass that any asshole can print off a printer, because in the real world, like it or not, some pumped up on adrenaline 20-year-old in cop's armor is going to take one more second to swing that club. Even if he doesn't read who this is or anything, what he sees is something professional looking, and he thinks, ooh, I better
Do you
not
see
hit
what I
this
mean?
guy.
But it doesn't mean
Do you
anything.
see what I mean?
I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying, but you have to understand that that piece of paper is just a piece of paper that looks like it's professional, but it's not.
It's just a protective barrier for the
Exactly.
entire organization. It's-
I understand that we should have protection. I understand that. I think we're done here.
Yeah.
As long as we can get this done, I'm satisfied and we can go ahead and move on.
Okay. Who wants to volunteer for the policy committee?
I want to sign up. Sign up, what's he saying?
We're just gonna sign up right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think we just need a week to be able to settle this. It's
I would
not a
think
long,
so,
it's
right?
not a long
I
step.
have
The easy way
Lily,
would
Ryan,
just look at
Corey,
how other companies are
Emily,
doing and
Antoine.
well,
It won't take long. It's just a matter of doing it.
Howard.
it's a
Well, it's a good idea. It's just a matter of.
After printing like passes, I have a plastic
On the up and
so
up.
this can be done like this is not.
I understand.
What do your friends say when you tell them that you're a cleaner?
Not much.
In our society, a cleaner is way down the line.
I think a stereotype about people that clean professionally is that something has gone wrong in their professional life and this is something they've been forced into.
Often when I say I'm a cleaner, I'm saying it with everything in me.
He asked me, what do? I said, a cleaner, and he started laughing.
There's something going on in the world that we need to clean.
Referendum committee.
Okay, we have a referendum coming up in March, I think.
Yeah.
So I think like a good portion of our
Recognition?
well, recognition, I mean like a good portion of what we're gonna be working on is gonna be you guys
Yeah.
with the marketing, etc. But I think that personally, I think like a few extra projects that we can use to raise awareness for CTV might be a good idea.
Well, tabling, if we do that once in a while, that's not bad.
Tabling.
There's only a small fraction of students that actually go to that event or
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you give away free food, they're pretty eager.
Mm-hmm. But these are,
Just
Yeah, but
saying,
again,
it's
it's a fraction of
It's
like,
all marketing.
what, like 40,000 students at Concordia?
Yeah,
Can we
I know.
get
I
at
just know
least
that
an
when they
ad
give
to run
free
and
food,
run?
we're talking about show up to a table.
Before this happens, we need to
suggestion.
be like postering regularly. We need to make ourselves visible. Chico and I were talking about maybe doing a 48-hour film festival.
Publicity stunts.
Publicity stunts. Whatever. We need to.
I have something to add that could help. GMSB, we're talking this at the GMMA. GMSB will, once we present our CTV to them, they will be willing, even to implement in their televisions and stuff. Because what the tabling does is only for H building, and we're missing out a lot of students who are not going in that building.
We could go up to Leola too, we should do it all
Exactly,
over there.
and it's not only tabling. I mean, that's what you said. Like we're working on in the marketing and how. What are our marketing channels? How are we going to communicate with the students, and we're coming up with all these creative ideas. And having these festivals for sure always helps in promoting it. Yeah.
Perhaps these should work together, and then we can plan events and do the marketing.
Just a question, Ben. When you say student groups, you mean like the clubs as well as like the faculty associations?
It could be any group.
Okay, that's
Oh yeah. It could be any groups that's under the CSU or their affiliates. Anyone who's a student, basically. That's who we're targeting. We're targeting students, so it doesn't matter which group they're part of.
No, I just wanted to clarify the term student groups.
Yeah.
So, do you think that those should be squished together into your group? Do you want to spearhead?
Yeah, since you're saying that, sorry, we're supposed to do marketing campaigns to raise awareness and stuff, that could definitely be, it falls under what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna overlap.
I mean, like, despite the referendum, I still really think it would be cool for us to have a 40-hour film festival.
Yeah.
And I think that should happen.
But for that, I actually had an idea. I had maybe a quality of life committee, something that some people, this is part of like decoration, events, internal things to make it like, wow, this place is so much fun. We don't only just cover stuff, but we actually do.
It's true, we should have like parties.
Well, open houses, well, no, but open houses wouldn't be bad. Like we could have an evening open house and even get an event license. have some beer or something.
I don't think we can drink on university property.
We
got a vent license for any room.
We've done it before.
Okay, sorry, my bad. I'm sorry. Yeah, you don't go to the fun events, Emily, apparently. I guess not.
No, kidding.
CUTV has already done this, and we have some past record of authorization for that.
Super.
So we just need to ask for this agreement.
Yeah, well, okay, so maybe this should be a party committee plus 48-hour film festival or.
So it's a quality of life, I think that's the
Or like.
or another name, I don't know.
Events
if there's
committee,
a,
ta-da!
Yes.
Events
exactly.
committee.
That's a good name.
That's a better
Or
way
a
of
couple
phrasing
hosts and, yeah.
Like, what do you say?
Could almost be a subcommittee of yours, but I guess we don't
Yeah.
get into subcommittee. No, because, yeah, like, if we could get people into the space the way it looks now, I think that would work out really well. You know, like, but it's hard to get them to come up the 4 flights of stairs, so maybe a little beer and pizza.
You can always have also, we can even rent places to promote our services and our, what we do.
We could.
Yeah, but this place, yeah.
Go into different communities. Well, we could probably make deals with community centers to film a certain something for them, and in return, they'll give us their thing for the night. Yeah. Shit like that. No offer to train there, but it's that kind of
You guys could do a Tuesdays poster campaign for open house, you know, excited and
Sounds
get
good.
them on.
Sounds good. And we definitely use our social media better. Right now, we're not using it for shit. I came here yesterday for this meeting, because the last thing on our Facebook page is last month's
Does
meeting.
anyone want to be a part of
Yeah.
the events committee?
Let's bring the party to see you.
So anyone else interested?
Think you want me in charge of planning parties up
Okay.
here?
There's one more, and this is like, it's not pressing, but as you guys know, and I won't shut up about it, I've been working on this project with Videotron, because they've submitted their application to the CRTC to start an English community television station in Montreal. And since we are a TVC, which is a not-for-profit television station within their service area, they are obligated to give us 4 hours of airtime per week on cable. And with that, potentially, could come some significant funding.
How much are we talking about?
That's nice.
2 or 3
So
minutes.
far they have pitched, and this is lowballing, at about $1,000 an hour, which isn't that much, but CUTV, along with other community organizations, has sent interventions into the CRTC to basically just like a list of our suggestions and demands for the new English community television station, and we've asked for significantly more than that. So this could represent like around $100,000 a year or more.
Because there is an important thing we need to know is that when Videotron is asking for this license for this new community channel, for them, this license is a huge cost, but it's also a huge benefit for them. So we have a high responsibility, and we can exert a lot of pressure on Videotron, on our exigence, because we are the one who are going to mostly be in charge of the section, even though we're on, as you say, only have 4 hours.
4 hours is a long time.
There is still a lot of content, a lot of things that we need to provide. It's any community channel, so there is going to be advertising, there is going to be Videotron who is going to benefit from that, so there is a lot, we are talking about a lot of money that can be
Okay,
made.
but there's also an ethical thing too, because we have a mandate right now at CTV, and our main mandate is to be offering training. That's our main mandate, and right now we're focusing mostly on like training amateurs rather than our production quality being very, very high, which it would have to be if for cable. And so we need to discuss as a group throughout all of the membership about what we're willing to do. And just because it offers like some funding, do we want to potentially like exclude people who are not producing at a quality that is high enough for cable on certain projects, or maybe we'll set up some kind of like bursary program for people who are working on projects that are specific to Videotron, et cetera, et cetera. Anyhow, this hasn't happened yet. We haven't negotiated anything with them other than we've sent our intervention into the CRTC saying we conditionally support this English community television station. And we'll find out within like this winter basically if it becomes approved or not, and then we can start negotiating with Videotron. But I need to keep an open dialogue with the membership when we're going into these negotiations to decide whether it's actually right for us or not. So I'd like to start a committee. It may not get going for a few months, but I just want to have people on board so that I'm not just doing this alone.
So what do we call it?
Just
Questions?
have
Questions?
one thing is that for now we don't know because we are still on the process of getting all this done, but also it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a kind of selection, which means that all the content that we are about to make, we are going to select the one we believe is more professionally looking, or we're going to make some team who are going to make sure they follow a strict.
Well, what it could be is that Videotron sends a representative to CUTV and coaches a team to
We have a point over there.
Let me just say something. First things first. As staff, every day members come to me, ask questions about this, saying they're not interested at all. Okay. Second, for that to happen, me as staff, I have to teach different things to other different people. Third, who is going to pick what is wrong, what is right? Fourth, coming somebody from Videotron is the last thing we want. I can tell you for sure. So imagine, like all of this.
Thing about it is, like with that money, it could be that we
But the
hire
money is for the people,
new
not for.
employees
No. That's the misconception. The money is not for CUTV. It's for the people who are producing, because this is a non-for-profit. So, Michelle produces a 1-hour show that Videotron is interested. They buy Michelle's show, that maybe the money for the equipment and the space, what percentage goes to CUTV, not the other way around. And just us having a relationship with Videotron.
Okay, we don't need to debate this right
Exactly.
now. This is what this policy, this is what this group is for.
Exactly.
To discuss problems just like this, because it represents a lot of administrative hurdles that we're going to have to get through in order to make this work for everybody. So a dialogue needs to start, and that's what this community is for.
Like there's something to help that, and also that helps any community or any things that's happening in CUTV, which I think what I was discussing with Fine before was it comes back to the communication part, communicating to the people internally and externally, the forums, the concept of the forum, which makes it way more easier also to communicate, because not only every time that we can always meet, or sometimes people have ideas, they pitch it in. So having a sustainable, functioning forum could also help your community and also any other people's community in these communication methods, and getting information, like you said, and getting things.
I'd rather just have meetings. I'd rather talk to people and get, I don't know, forums, online stuff can get.
Well, I'm not saying disregard the meetings. I'm just saying, it can also, and for any type of communication in gathering data about the place or anything, forums are very well used in organizations. And like I said, like Fang was talking about it, we can.
Sang in this autumn season hallowed, honor phantoms, ghosts, and ghouls and blood, because there is a Dennis as menstruation code ere how many years in his effort to be near. This not commercial is not paid for by the Society for the Prevention of Cruelties Towards Women.
The committee to discuss administrative issues if you don't have interest. First you need to see if members are actually interested, because if there's just 2 people, I don't know. I don't see the point of just having people interested, figuring out things, and then I don't know.
But I think if you present them with an opportunity, more interest is going to generate out of that. Just because there's maybe not a lot of interest at the current moment doesn't mean that they're not going to kill their whatever they're
And also we need to keep in mind. It's really important for us to keep in mind that when we got our substantial fee levy last year from the students who pay for everything at CUTV. We ran on the idea that CUTV was going to attempt to get on cable. So if we're not going to try to get on cable, then we're disenfranchising 40,000 students that are paying for you to do what you want to do at CUTV. So this isn't something that like we can just ignore. Like it is something that we have to look into, because this is why. So this is part of why.
Also, like you say that we, like CUTV.
I agree with you, but not all.
Like we've been like even like even like 8 years ago or like 7 years ago or whatever, like they've been trying to get onto cable. Like it's been something CUTV's been trying to do for like a very, very long time.
Yeah, but CUTV is the members, so you need to see if members are down or not. Like, okay, like it's a good idea maybe.
What's
but
our
like,
but
you need to see like what people think about it and just not just keep it at the board level. Like see with all.
This is why we're opening up a committee. I don't understand
what
what the issue is.
No, the issue is that I'm just saying that it shouldn't stay like.
So well, if you have some opinions, then come to the committee and
yeah,
present
okay.
them.
Well, let's like not be aggressive. It's just like.
I just don't understand what you're.
I'm just saying that I guess it means like continuing back this idea of doing more like forums and like exposing the idea slowly to members and then having your. I don't know, like if you want to form a committee now, just do it.
This is what Emily is doing right now. The committee is going to explore. So it's totally open. There's no commitment at all. And once there's some information, we can present it to people. You know, there can't be any interest if there's no information. So this is what the committee is going to be. So I'm really curious. I'm, you know.
Yeah, we're just kind of bringing it up right now. We're not, nothing's like.
There's just also like in the past CUTV was also before like it's why it's CUTV TV. It's used to broadcast television on small portion, if I'm not mistaken. That's what was CUTV doing. After when time passed, they stopped broadcasting on small area and they went online and broadcast online. But before that, CUTV was already doing some program. And I found that by looking at some of the past folder of CUTV, where there is some old program of CUTV that was basically was doing television, proper television. They stopped doing that. I'm not sure exactly what's happened, the cause of this. They went online, which was a big thing at the time. Now we're talking about bringing back all of this and being able to go on television again, because let's face it, it's like being on television, it's way more efficient to bring viewer, to bring CTV in front of Montreal. It's what we want to do.
Cable is more?
No,
more efficient, cable?
Being online, yeah, it's good, but being on television, you have more viewer.
Do you have a television?
Hmm?
Do you have I don't have a television. He doesn't have a television. See what I mean? It's only about the money, man.
But what's the drawback on having more viewers view the content?
Full spectrum dominance is good. The problem is not viewers. It's you have to teach people different ways. You have to restructure the station just for that project to work.
Or we set up certain projects that some people. Okay, anyhow, this is stuff to talk about.
To talk about, I think that will actually find some sort of solution. Having like you're working on this and it's a big project. Having a committee is very good. And what
I mean, the only reason that I'm the only one who's been working on this is because I'm the only person who's still here from the last board.
No, but
I mean,
wait.
Michelle came to some meetings with me, and it was exciting. And
yeah,
this is something
that is why this is where our role comes into place. Where as you know, promoting what we do to students. So having some sort of public consultation or presentation done to the students' level, maybe there are no members here interested, but there are maybe prospect members at Concordia that could be interested in doing television, and this is something that the committee could work on and do a proposal to the students through marketing and through consultations, and have people interested, and could work out.
Also, it's not like the only thing we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not like all of our energy is based on this. I mean, we have 6 committees, or how many, 5 or 6 committees, and this is one of them. So it's not going to like take over CUTV. It's just something to explore.
So do we have an issue to vote on here? Like, I guess to create the committee, yeah?
Oh, maybe there's
we have to vote them all on them all.
What is this committee going to be called?
We got our television.
My TV.
I guess. Yeah, public TV.
Or cable committee.
Yeah.
Cable, that's good. CCC.
Okay, and we've said the referendum
The three
committee is
Cs.
kind of marketing one.
But-
Well, do we, well, it's an events committee instead of the marketing committee.
That kind of just falls under.
Aren't they two different committees? Events and marketing are two different committees.
Yes, they are.
I think the referendum committee is an umbrella committee.
I thought it was.
It's like-
I think that's
It's
people
a
in events
tool.
and people in
Marketing
marketing.
tools.
Yeah,
We've
Michelle.
got a
Yeah, no, I just wanted to know if like I was confused or if there had been, I guess, like changes or updates made to like what I saw in the last meeting with Videotron and the community groups. Just like again in terms of like the members, just because you were phrasing it in terms of like CUTV getting funding, right? And I'm just wondering if there was like a change or. Because what I remember was what Chica was saying about how the members, specifically the user, like the production person, would be paid, not the organization itself.
This is what we have to figure out. Because we haven't signed anything. We don't know what we're gonna do
Right.
with this. I mean, we haven't started
But as a
negotiations.
nonprofit, I mean, it's tricky to play with that, you know, like they're
You can pay members as a nonprofit. Not for being members, but for specific tasks that they.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that in this construct, like the money would be given to CUTV rather than the member, right? And
Yes. But CUTV would have to set up some kind of.
okay,
Program
but
of
I'm just
grocery
wondering, like,
function.
why there's an incentive to do that, being that we already have a substantial fee levy. Wouldn't it be cool to support our members through letting them like sell their content? I mean, yeah, some of it's going to come back to us anyway because we provide, you know.
Like setting this up as as this link is a direct marketplace for our members to directly sell their content.
Like, I guess I'm just
totally
wondering what the
is.
problem was
I
with
think-
the
I think,
original
yeah.
proposition to directly pay the
But
members.
I think we're just trying to set up the committee.
There is
versus,
still a
like,
problem.
we're trying to-
We haven't made any decisions. It just needs to be worked.
Yeah,
We
it's
just
all-
need to work a bunch of ideas. That's a great idea. There's other ideas about how we could organize it.
Well, I just remember that being the original proposition that Videotron put forward there, but.
Another discussion.
I
Yeah.
have a question about this. It's a good idea about being able to pay our members, but what about our members who produce in
Videotron
French?
pays the members.
Is there a way of setting something up later on with MyTV to accommodate that?
There's no rule with MyTV that you can't publish French stuff.
Okay.
Just because it's marketed as an English community television station, they're thinking about having programming in Italian and
Okay.
Lebanese and whatever. A bunch of any cultural group is welcome to pitch to MyTV.
Does anyone want to be a part of the cable committee, even if they have problems with it? Maybe it's good to be involved if you want to.
So
I mean, at this point, I'm not
the mailing
involved
list?
because I have
Yeah,
to
we're making a mailing
help
list.
with the
If you want to be on
promotion.
the mailing list, then give me your name, Michelle.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's your name?
I'm Yara, but not like just I don't like comedy would be like meeting.
Well, you don't
and
necessarily.
discussing,
You'd be on
like-
the list.
Okay.
Of mailing
You
list.
could, you
I'm
could just like
very-
choose to come if you want and
Yeah.
voice your opinion,
So who else is?
Yeah. I want to be on the
Corey,
mailing list.
Bagby.
which we value.
Thanks. I put you on there. Cures I have. One. Anyone else?
Le JAM est un collectif d'entrepreneurs, de militants, d'étudiants, d'enseignants et d'agriculteurs qui cherchent à mettre en place une plateforme de collaboration. Une plateforme de collaboration qui est physique, c'est-à-dire un espace de rassemblement, un espace où on peut rencontrer des personnes qui font des projets, qui ont différentes approches vis-à-vis de l'alimentation et de l'agriculture. Et on a approché une série de thématiques en vue de bâtir de nouvelles actions, en vue de bâtir de nouveaux projets et de la recherche socialement appliquée qui pourrait appuyer les collectivités qui sont actuellement en train de faire différents projets autour de l'alimentation.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so is there any other committees that people would like
Yeah.
to propose?
So the first week, like the decorating to do facility space, it comes back to the event thing.
I think so.
Okay. A second thing came up when we were discussing, especially with staff or other, from prior problems and recent, having maybe a grievance committee, people who also check in ethics and stuff, like get professionals to help with the forming these committee, this grievance committee.
And writing policies.
And yeah, and
Maybe that should be part of the policy committee.
it could.
Yeah, because the grievance, because these guys, you're not talking about we trying to appoint something that's gonna hear grievances, you're talking about a committee to set up how we do that, or?
There's that. There's also the fact that having this again, it comes back always to the collecting of the data.
Right.
Where it comes, sometimes suggestions are not always openly give because the people fear groupthink.
Right.
Okay, so maybe they want to have someone to talk to, or some sort of anonymous mailing, so they can actually suggest things or recommend things, and we can process that. So that could be part of again communications, and we could touch grievances also.
Maybe we should make a note that that's a priority for the policy committee.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that is something that's tackled.
Because we do want like safe space, both physical and mentally. So have that integrated.
How does staff deal with it now? How should we deal with it?
Grievance?
Yeah. Or if someone has a problem with one of us, who should they talk to? One of us.
It's hard to tell. Like it's kind of case by case, but I'd like to say maybe the whole board of directors could discuss it and come up with a.
Okay, so we'll just refer people that have issues to the board of directors.
For now.
Okay.
Until we get policies written. Okay. Anything else?
Before I forget, can I ask something? Who's on the finance committee?
It's mainly Malta, but we're almost all are.
Okay, it's just to ask if we can pass the motion to task the finance committee to determine what's the current CUTV's costs right now.
Yeah.
So we can know where we are and how much we spend, and but until the end of November, as the budget is different, is how you're gonna spend the money. It's good to know how much we're spending right now. And because before we can't compare with before, because it was the 400,000 because and the live view backpack and this and that had additional costs every month and whatever. And right now we should see how much UTV is spending day to day or month to month.
Well, this comes from our last meeting. Remember when we were saying we should provide like reports as where we are now at each meeting, so that we actually have stats and graphs telling us. How much are we spending? How much do we have? And where are we headed? I'm in business, and this is what we do.
Okay, all of the money you're asking, like budget, I have started creating a proper Excel that didn't exist until now, where all the budget will be done. However, I don't know what to expect for the budget. I can only put the fixed costs, which are all insurance, all of the costs we know every year are going to be the same. But I only have his reports, like the audit report, as past financial things of CTV. I have been trying, there is a lot of documents on that. I'm still trying to see how there is like thousands of bank statements I need to check to be able to know around what we can expect every year. And creating a budget, we don't have in the past, so we have to make assumption, which means that for the coming time, the budget is going to be based at least almost all on some assumption of spending. We know, the only thing we can know for sure is how much we can expect to earn, because it's usually similar. It's from Concordia, so we know around what.
Maybe we should continue this in a finance committee meeting, which we're going to have soon.
I just want to ask if we can propose the motion, if we can task that to the end of the November, to be before Christmas.
Okay, well, let's send an email out to the finance committee.
Do you want to make a motion? Or?
That's what I'm asking. I'm proposing the
I
motion,
don't think
and
that
you
we need to make motions in order to set up meetings.
But he has the right to propose a motion if he wants to. In Robert's
I'm proposing the motion for task that to that committee to make sure it's done before December. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anybody second?
Okay, do you want to write that out?
I'll help. I'm a part of the finance, but just to help myself too.
Can I make one statement too regarding the word budget? And this is because I know not everybody here is finance. I definitely wasn't before this experience. Budgeting refers to setting aside a number of amount of money based on the last year's operating expenses. So to start working with budgets first before understanding where we've been spending is just guessing numbers. You're just throwing out numbers. So before the budget committee can actually do any work, we have to figure out what the operating costs for the station is. And we have enough, Chico and I have been running the station with minimum expenses as much as possible since we've been, since March last year. And we have a baseline now of how much it costs to run the station the way it's being run right now, minus the live streaming expenses because we're not paying for that. So like, this is definitely an urgent thing. If for anybody that's interested in working on budgets and increasing the amount we spend in this area or that area or whatever it is, those conversations aren't going to be useful until we're actually talking about numbers that have happened, like, and that we can actually budget for.
Great. So whereas
I propose to task the finance committee to have the current costs of CUTV that's spent.
Produce current operating costs.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Until the end of November, to be before.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be completed?
Yeah.
So it's proposed by Chico, seconded by William. Vote.
Yeah.
This is the gas line?
Yeah, vote yes. Favor? Pass. We have to go back to the committees?
Yes.
Okay, so, did we have to add another committee, or is that all the committees?
If members, you have any ideas too?
Yeah,
This is a good time to suggest.
Can you just read them out one more time?
Yeah, of course. And then some of them we kind of put under other committees that were mentioned. So we have the marketing committee, we have the budget committee, policies committee, which will tackle the press badge and ethics, as well as the grievance committee. Those are priorities. The referendum committee, events, and then cable.
Can I suggest equipment and space?
What?
Okay.
Equipment and space committee?
Sure, what would that one
What
entail?
would
That entails looking at all the equipment that we currently have, the production needs of members, and determining whether our current equipment stock is suitable and whether or not equipment is being tracked properly and we're doing everything that we can to make sure that we're securing our investments.
And also the space part comes, I guess, even safety.
Yep.
Ensuring that it's safe to move it.
We have also we haven't talked about it yet, the capacity that we can have, the number of people that are allowed to be in the building.
Physically up here.
Physically here.
We're illegal right now. Problem.
Like I think in this room we can have a certain number of persons, and we know how much person we can handle.
This could be the committee you proposed. Equipment and
I guess
space.
already part of this committee.
Yeah.
But we already have this part, so we just have to make a night draft.
Yeah, like finding ways to ensure safety. Yeah.
Can you please add me to the events one?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Alright, so me, I'm going to describe Spark in 5 words. Inspiration, potential, organization, hard work, and then success, as a success will be a result of your hard work.
Spark is that moment when you realize that you're destined for greater things. And this show is here to help you find that inspiration.
I strongly believe that Spark is what makes you go from nothing to something, from ordinary to extraordinary.
So Spark is, to me, a concept that we're trying to establish to help the people of our generation be inspired to accomplish a lot more. This is why we're here.
Or any other committees that would enrich the lives of all of us at CUTV? Okay, I mean, we can always establish other ones at later dates if they need it.
I think we got our work cut out for us, though.
Yeah, there's already a lot of committees. So let's vote on them.
Okay.
Proposed, all proposed.
Second.
Corey.
All in favor? Okay. So the last thing on the agenda, we're gonna have to go into in-camera in order to do this. So thank you everybody for coming out.
I just had a question.
Yeah.
I had proposed, I sent an email to the board, it probably got lost in the shuffle, that the max payers be discussed. Because I know we have extra ones that we were gonna sell.
You like? Yeah? So we'll work, and we have more people. Yes, now we can all work. And I guess Jimmy is going to sign up. We should add people to sign up.
Okay, so we can go directly to the page.
Exactly.
No, I think we should be able to just mirror you.
And regardless of how we work at Jimmy, so you can sign up.
Yeah, I know.